Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to read an article titled, My Boyfriend is Too Nice, 9 Reasons He's Acting This Way. And guys, this whole article is written by a woman, and she's going to go into all these details basically about 9 different reasons why guys are too nice in a relationship, and obviously why it's bad for you in terms of she's addressing women. Why it's bad for women that guys behave this way, and basically dump them if they're obviously too nice. Now, I will say this. There are some things that she brings up that I do agree with are going too far. But a lot of these things are not that big a deal, but her interpretation and her explanation of these reasons why guys are behaving in a too nice way, according to her, are ridiculous. And this only reinforces why so many women out there are alone, because they're so psychotically picky, or they listen to people like her. Basically, they get a good guy. Sure, he makes some mistakes, and sometimes he says or does things maybe it doesn't display the most confidence, but he's a good guy, treats her well, and she ends up kicking him to the curb, thinking she can do better. And then later on in time, she's whining and crying and complaining that she's alone and there are no good men out there. And for a lot of you guys that have been dumped at some point in your lives because and being told that you were too nice or something like this, some of this, it's going to give you a good laugh, okay? Because believe me, when I was younger, when I was in high school and in college, I was just as clueless as many of you guys. I was labeled as too nice and things like that, and I had to learn the hard way. So I teach you guys a lot of things so you don't ever get labeled that. But nevertheless, some of these things are just absolutely ridiculous, and you all know. So I'm going to go over this here and call BS on some of the things here, and just, you'll see what I'm talking about here. So it starts off, you're probably wondering what could go wrong with a partner being too nice. But trust me, it's true. When they say too much of something, it is a problem. As an adult in a healthy relationship, your relationship's value should be determined by the boundaries you keep. Nice guys are not bad, but that he's too nice could bring you a truckload of anxiety. Before we go on, let's paint a picture of what my boyfriend is too nice means. A truckload of anxiety because the guy is being too nice. Just here we go. I can't imagine what it's like to be in a relationship with her. I guarantee you she's alone. As a couple, it's normal to make occasional sacrifices for your husband, boyfriend, or partner. However, continually putting the needs of your partner above your own for a reason like the fear of disappointment or conflict, then you're far too nice. If this is the type of personality your boyfriend has, you're going to run into issues you would never thought of. So, I tell you guys, don't put women on a pedestal for lots of reasons, and this is one of them, because it's going to turn them off, okay? It's crazy, but it's like, there's plenty of guys out there that treat women like dirt, and those are the guys, interestingly enough, that have the women chasing after. And while we all want to be decent people, unfortunately, it's like you got to kind of have to act that way, or at least you certainly don't put them on a pedestal. And she's saying it out right here. Take it from me. Listen to this. Take it from me, too nice guys are toxic. You got to be kidding me. First, we have the complaints about toxic masculinity for a whole other category. Now, basically, nice guys are toxic. You see what I'm talking about? How generally women don't know what the hell they want. They can't make up their minds, and they wonder why they're alone. The act is harmless at first, but as it goes on, there's more pressure on you. The right thing to do would be to talk with him about this, but it could be a personality defect that may take too long to change. I'll say end the union, or at least get yourself acquainted with the situation you're either walking into or is already in. So if he's too nice, she says end it, basically. End it for a guy that's going to treat you like crap, which you can then complain about as well to your girlfriends. But at least she respects him because he's not kissing her butt. If your boyfriend's reason for supporting you comes from fear, that's unhealthy. Below are 9 reasons why too nice is not always right in relationships. Number 1, pressure. Again, this is all according to her, guys. Pressure. Pressure that your boyfriend is too nice would put you under a lot of pressure to meet up with him. Often it makes the sacrifices you take redundant because you're only making them so you can be on the same pedestal as him, not because you're choosing to make them. Nobody likes to get in a fight with their partner, but like it or not, there are pros of having those couple arguments. Pressure because he's putting you on the thing? Well, I tell you all the time, don't put a girl on a pedestal. She'll look down at you like a peasant. Treat her like a queen, she'll treat you like a peasant. That's just how it is. First, they help you grow in communication, and with understanding each other, always take the bullet for fear of conflict may seem plausible for a while until it causes an imbalance, which is inevitable. Your nice guy continually calling the shots or determining whether or not a situation is worth talking about for the sake of peace would push you into resentment. That sort of pressure is unhealthy. Number 2, loss of trust. In a room where your partner is doing too much, it will be uncomfortable for you. If you catch a wave what's going on time, you may be able to sort through it, communication or therapy. However, being too nice in relationships is a bomb waiting to explode in a relationship, and it starts by eating up your trust. What is the point if there's no trust? The very foundation of being together is based on trust, and if it gets eaten, and there's nothing left to fight for. When your man continues to withhold issues from you or is eager to compromise for your sake, it would lead to resentment, and that may not come from your side alone. Overly nice people expect the same energy in return. Not being able to give them that directly translate into not being loved by you. I will say that in terms of if you got someone that's a giver, and they think that if I'm giving so much, then basically they're going to give so much too. You're up for some disappointment there. So that's the thing about nice guys. They just give and give and give, and they think they're going to get it back. Doesn't always work that way, okay? You definitely, if you're in new relationships, guys, you obviously want both people, the guy and the girl, or if you're same sex, both parties both being givers. But don't go expecting because you do something, they're going to do it right back. It doesn't work that way always. It can lead to a lot of disappointment and fights. Number 3, overprotection. You can already tell that this type of attitude translates to being too possessive as well. He'll want to involve himself in everything you are doing and perhaps even keeps tabs on you. For him, he's caring and loving. However, you feel entirely different about not having your space. A lot of guys do that. A lot of guys, out of fear, they're going to lose her, smother the girl, okay? And that's a mistake. You don't do that, okay? You have your own freaking life. Go out with your buddies, your hobbies, and all that type of stuff, and have her chasing and bugging you for your time. But again, how many girls complain that the guy doesn't make time for them? How many girls, they'll break up with a guy like this and then complain that they're alone? See? Quality time in a relationship is essential, so is communication. But then it's possible to be doing too much. Give your partner space to be independent. It allows them to grow. Nice people become irksome. It's almost as if they do not have a long of their own and become a leech on your skin. Nobody wants a man who's always calling, always available, always wanting to know, and so on. It's stressful on a partner and begs the question, don't you have a life? That is a fair opinion too. I will say, you got to have a life, guys, for you guys that do relationships, okay? Don't just make your girl your sole purpose for getting up out of bed and your whole life. Hang out with your buddies, go to the gym, pursue your goals, your ambitions and all that. She'll be chasing after you. On the other hand, a lot of these women then complain when the guys don't spend time with them, so they can't make up their damn minds. They'll break up with the good guy, even though he may be a little annoying because he's spending a little too much time with her in her view. They break up, he goes to have a life, and then she'll want him back. Or she'll then end up with a guy who doesn't do any of that and complain and whine he doesn't pay attention to her and want the other guy back. Number 4, listen to this one. Always agreeing. This is the worst. It feels just like dating a child. You may not see it, but being the opinionated person is golden. It may pose as problematic, but like it or not, it gives you a lot of perspectives. Imagine needing an advice on a subject and get your suggestion thrown back at you. It's exhausting. So is she trying to say that she wants a guy that's going to disagree with her? Will say things that she doesn't want to hear? So, for instance, does this dress make me look fat? Does she want the guy to say, no, your butt does? Or agree with her and say, he says, no, you look great in that, even though she knows she doesn't, then she gets mad about that. Or he's truthful and says, yeah, you do look fat in that dress, and she loses her shit. You can't win. Relationships are about giving and taking. It's unhealthy for him to always be the giver. If he always agrees with you, his opinion becomes worthless. Just like compliments. This is why I tell you guys when it comes to validation, and women love validation and attention. They can't function without it. When it comes to compliments, beautiful women that are bombarded with compliments from guys all the time, means nothing to them when they get that. However, the guys that don't compliment them, that's the one that drives them crazy because they actually want to get that validation and compliments from them. So for those of you guys that are actually in relationships or you're married, you can do compliments, but do them sparingly, okay? Not all the time. Because if you bombard them with compliments, they're going to start thinking you're just doing it to kiss their butt, and they're going to think it doesn't mean anything. And it's the same thing also if you're always being in agreement, okay? If you're going to do relationships, you speak your mind, okay? She'll respect you more, trust me. But then again, she will complain if you say things that she doesn't want to hear. It's crazy. You guys in relationships, you know what I'm talking about. She goes on, soon you may not even bother to ask for it because you can assume correctly what it would be. I would advise you seek therapy at this point because it's beyond a mere couple chit-chat on how to solve a problem because he would agree with you, so what does it make? Number 5, solving all problems. A nice guy that jumps into swoon you out of your problems without at least giving you some time to sort them out by yourself is only enabling you, not helping you. And that's going to backfire. Life isn't a bed of roses. Yeah, well, a lot of women want the guy to be the white knight and all that, but I tell you guys, don't be the white knight because a lot of times your efforts and the things you do, not to mention the money you might put into being the white knight, will be gone. And it'll come back to bite you in the butt. And she'll chase after the guy that isn't the white knight, that does the black knight, if you will, and won't do anything, okay? But then again, these are guys that are obviously doing nice things for the women, okay? And obviously in her view, it's too much, therefore dump them. But you know how many women would be dying to have a guy that actually treated them well and did things like that, even if it was excessive? But these are the ones, obviously, that are older, alone, and were probably the same girls that used to break up with guys because they did these things and were being too nice. Both partners in a relationship need to be how to be dependent when they have to be independent when they don't. You may feel it's okay as long as he's solving the problems for someone he loves, but that's very misleading. You will never develop the skills to take care of yourself in that relationship for as long as you have a nice guy who is always a fixer. You may never grow, and should the relationship come to an end, you walk out the same person instead of better. You may expect a fixer out of your next partner. Well, learn to be independent and take care of all these things on your own before you get in a relationship, okay? So, but again, believe me, I've known a lot of women that like guys that can be fixers. And I don't mean can fix the toilet or fix the sink or you get a flat tire and he can fix the tire. I'm talking about just other things, guys that take care of things, especially if you're in relationships and you're living together and you're both busy, okay? But here we are. Maybe she's more on the like a feminist that I can do anything any man can do, so I don't want him fixing things for me. Who knows? Number 6. He is a people pleaser. That is a classic nice guy trait, which I warned you guys about. He is a people pleaser. This attitude would get both of you into serious trouble. It would always start with him, but somehow you would get roped into it as well. You can please everyone no matter how hard you try, or you can't please everyone no matter how hard you try, neither can he. That he's putting so much effort to please other people would mean displeasing you eventually, and that's not good at all. Nobody wants somebody that goes around kissing their butt all the time. It's unattractive, okay? And I've told you again, I've told you guys this before several times, okay? Imagine a nice guy who's trying not to hurt everyone around him, especially family. A guy who tries hard to do things in favor of his friends and his boss as well. Such a person would begin to lose time or misplace their value due to being dragged in different directions. People pleasers are always taken advantage of. And I agree with her on this element that obviously is an unattractive quality. But again, if you have a guy that's obviously trying to do nice things for you, you want to look at the big picture and realize more and more aren't that way because they've been burned and learned the hard way. So if you got a guy that's actually doing nice things for you, maybe you ought to learn to appreciate that a little bit more instead of going to this bullshit that she's going into. But guys, for your own lives, understand this. Don't be people pleasers, because you're going to spend your whole life trying to make everybody else happy, which you can't do, by the way. And you're definitely you can guarantee you're going to make yourself miserable. Trust me. Number 7. Listen to this one. This is truly ridiculous. Number 7. Overly positive. What, does she want a guy that's overly negative? That's attractive to her? Overly positive vibes can annoy you out of a relationship. Although the bud can nip this through communication, it's not easy to get rid of a person's spirit. Don't get me wrong, people who are always positive make the world a sustainable place to live in. However, I cannot stand being in a relationship with one. It's not possible to be that cheerful always, in my opinion. So in other words, she is obviously a miserable pain in the butt. Okay, obviously she's alone, but guess what? I like being around positive people. I sure as hell don't like being around negative people. Now, don't get me wrong. You can obviously have some very, what's the word here? I want to say pessimistic, but very realistic views on things. I mean, a lot of people label me as being a very pessimistic, negative person. I speak reality. I speak reality of how things go after being on this planet for 43 years and experiencing a lot of things, living in lots of places, traveling in a lot of different countries. I've learned a lot about human nature. But I'm a can-do, silver lining, positive individual. And so I've known people that are negative all the time, and they just suck the life out of you. So she's complaining that being in a relationship with a guy that's always positive is a bad thing. That says a hell of a lot about her. You can't make her happy because she is unhappy. She's probably one of these people that isn't happy unless she's miserable. She says, such types of people are either living in denial or living in a contradiction to me. There are no two ways about it. I cannot stand the fake life they reek of. That's not true. I've known a lot of people that are extremely positive people, and they have very good, happy, healthy lives because they make it be that way. I beg myself to overlook them, especially if they're not my business. If your partner is such a guy, dating him must be tough in your mood swings. She is a pain in the ass. Number 8, no space. Healthy space is one of the things that help relationships bloom. You cannot be in your partner's face all the time, and overly nice men don't seem to notice this. It causes discomfort. Well, I agree, you got to have your own space and once again your whole life, but I have a feeling, given the way she's describing herself, especially not liking positive men, that probably any little thing a guy does, in her view, would be too much. So with regards to the whole, I had a girlfriend like this when I was in high school, and she was just very dark. I don't know what it was attracting me. Well, I do remember what attracted me to her was her giant chest, but putting that aside, and she was a cheerleader, but putting that aside, she was very dark, very negative in a lot of ways, and just, even the littlest thing, she felt like her space was being taken from her. It was weird. Number 9, it takes the energy away. Dating a guy who is too nice sucks away the energy of the courtship as fast as flicking off a light switch. You can't make her happy. And this woman is going to have influence on... I guarantee you some women will have read this article and probably had a boyfriend that wasn't doing much of these things, but dumped the guy because of her. Guaranteed. And now she's going to go to some frequently asked questions, which I'm going to read and go over here. One of the questions was, can a man be too nice in a relationship? Well, obviously this is what they're addressing, but I'll read it anyway. She says, of course, he's human after all. Women are often the ones who are known to go above and beyond for men, but men do it as well. Yeah, well, it seems like men do it way more nowadays than ever, and look what it's done to them. They can develop the habit of being too lovely due to trauma from a past relationship, childhood issues, or the need for constant affection. Well, from prior bad relationships, a lot of nice guys they turn into bad boys because they learn by being too nice where it gets them, so they then do the exact opposite and say, wait a second here, I was being so nice and accommodating and a gentleman and all that, and it kept getting me dumped over and over again or taken advantage of, but now I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to basically act like an asshole, and wow, all of a sudden all these women are after me. I think I'm going to choose this persona. That's what usually happens. Some women usually mistake this for being wooed at first, but when the fairy tale phase never ends, there's an issue. Although in theory it sounds like the perfect type of relationship to have, it's not practical. A guy is too nice in a relationship when he loses his voice of reasoning to please you. Another one, what does it mean if a guy's too nice? Again, she's addressed this, but I'll go into it. She says, as soon as a guy becomes too nice, you will know. It's almost as if he loses his ego. And I know we preached to have said ego gone, but in truth, we only want it reduced. So she's saying here, according to her, that guess what? Women like guys that are a tad bit arrogant. Is that what she's trying to say? They all say confidence, but I mean, it's very interesting. I've known a lot of women that reluctantly admit that they like a guy that's, I want to say arrogant with a capital A, but definitely has a little a with the arrogance thing. But basically is obviously thinks highly enough of himself that he doesn't need her. Okay? And at the end of the day, one of the ways to definitely keep a woman attracted to you is knowing that you got options. And that if she pushes you too far, you can walk like this. and replace her in a heartbeat with a woman younger and hotter. It's amazing the effect that has on women, okay? Okay, I didn't make women, I didn't design them, I'm just telling you how it goes, okay? She says here, for a guy to be termed overly sweet, he must have lost himself or confidence in himself. The bad part is that this can affect you too. If you hang around with him, sometimes it means the kind of person he is entitled to. So the guy's being overly sweet, then obviously something's wrong with him and he has lack of confidence. There are guys that just simply really like the girl they're with and they want to do nice things. But that's being twisted around here as being a bad thing and saying that he had some issue or he has no confidence. Maybe he's a good guy just trying to treat you well. But again, you see why so many guys start moving down a different path because they're trying to be good guys to someone they care about and it backfires. Another one, what does it mean to be too friendly in a relationship? It can mean that your boundaries are not stable enough for both of you as a couple, but as friends. It's not a bad idea to be friendly with your friends, but be careful not to take it to the extreme. This could be another way to address flirtatiousness with a partner. Maybe your guy is too much of a hugger for you, and you're quite uncomfortable with how he behaves around other women. Lines get crossed over friendliness, and it's better to avoid it altogether. Speak to your guy about the kind of relationship you want to share with him and filter the drama. Another one, what should I do if my boyfriend is too busy? Well, this should make this lady happy if this person's wondering what should I do if the boyfriend's too busy, because she says the boyfriend should be super busy, which, guys, you should be busy. If you're in relationships, you should be busy chasing after your goals and ambitions. I agree there, and obviously have a life. She says if your boyfriend is too busy, he's probably not ready for a relationship with you. So, listen to this. If he's too busy, he's not really ready for a relationship with you. If he's not busy, then he's smothering you, and you don't want him either. You can't make her happy. The best thing to do in this partnership is to communicate with your guy about how you feel. You need to let him know that spending time with you is a priority. You can have a successful relationship where your spouse isn't paying any attention to your needs, or you can't have that type of relationship. If your boyfriend is too busy, maybe he doesn't need the connection. Find yourself something to indulge in as well, or better still, leave him alone. Why do nice guys finish last in relationships? I can't wait to hear this. It hardly makes sense to do everything right, but end up being played by the rules. It doesn't turn out in your favor. It's almost implausible how being nice and sweet doesn't always end with love working out for you. Here's the secret. Nice guys make it difficult for their partners to bring something into a relationship. Listen to the blame here. Being too nice with your partner often means you reward bad behavior, therefore cheating yourself. That you sacrifice for a person isn't a guarantee that they will feel a favorable attraction towards you. In conclusion, I hope you've all enjoyed reading this article. Well, it's been interesting, and I can tell that you're alone unhappy. Being nice in a relationship isn't bad, but when it's too much, it becomes problematic. I think any type of niceness in this woman's view is negative. I shared a few cases where it may never end well for such couples. Please look at them closely. I would love to read your thoughts on the subject. Write them to me in the comment section below, and please share this article with your friends. Well, I'm sharing this article with 101,000 friends, brothers, and somehow I think that's not what she had in mind, but we'll see. But anyhow, guys, this goes to show you just women don't know what the hell they want. If a guy is treating her well in a relationship, and he may be taking some things too far, but he's still treating her well and all that, and he's a bad guy, dump him. Go for the guy who treats you like crap, and then, oh, well, he's a good thing. And you saw at the end there, she said about if the guy doesn't want to spend enough time with you, well, maybe he's not ready for a relationship. But wait a second, you just said if he's spending too much time with you, then you should dump him. But it's crazy. But this goes again to show you guys how so many women don't understand what they emotionally respond to, and they don't know what they want. And they're just completely in their psychotic minds, and yet again, will whine and complain one day that they're alone, have no guy, nowhere close to being on their way to the altar, that type of thing. So it is what it is, but I just like to point these things out along the way. And so for you guys that like to remain single, now this only reinforces your point of view. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.